Well, certainly we need to mention the energy transition and the overall amount of metal that's required to enact that transition. And whether you believe that transition happens over the next 10, 20, or 30 years, it is a medium and long-term trend that investors are focused on. At the same time, geopolitical tensions are providing an additional tailwind to that energy transition in terms of governments wanting to make sure that they have the requisite metal for their own needs, as well as providing support for precious metals. We're seeing traditional lenders start to reduce exposure to the upstream form of that segment, being the mining form, and starting to increase their exposure into the midstream form of the segment in terms of battery production. And into that void, we're seeing much more activity from private credit institutions as well as royalties and streaming companies. Well, every project is unique, and it must be assessed from a first principles or bottoms-up approach across a number of different factors. At Appian, we review projects across each of those disciplines, including geology, mining, processing, tailings, and of course, environmental, social, and community risks as well. And at the end of that process, there really can't be any binary risks that threaten a project's survival, and a project must be able to withstand pretty significant shocks or sensitivities, both to commodity prices as well as factors like operating costs. Yeah, emerging markets certainly do add additional layer of risk when thinking about a project financing. ECAs, or export credit agencies, which are government entities looking to secure mineral supply, have taken a much more active role more recently. In jurisdictions where banks may be less inclined to invest, we've seen private credit and royalties and streaming companies more active. Specifically in Africa, we've seen some African banks take a more active role in project financing. And then of course there are tools like political risk insurance, which add another layer of credit support. Yeah, the opportunity is certainly exciting, driven by the thematics that we all have been following, especially that energy transition. At the same time, there are challenges. One challenge is actually just the overall supply of capital to enact this transition, and we're looking to obviously be a big part of the solution for that, but there are very limited pockets of capital to bring more mines into production. At the same time, mining projects take quite a long time to deliver into production, and so we also will require a supportive equity environment to raise the requisite risk capital to deliver these projects into production.